Power Card Games and Comics fans, welcome to another episode of the weekly, monthly Shonen Jump, sponsored by Power Card Games and Comics in Port U in New York. I'm Skylar Hathaway.
I'm Chris Potter.
We got another episode issue. We got Shonen Jump number 13 over here.
Yep. January 2004.
Yeah. What fun. 13 issues in. They're going to stop doing this soon. This issues. The Japanese are as superstitious as we are, if not more so, here in America. So this is a big no-no. We don't do issue 13s. This is bad for a magazine. It's bad luck for a magazine.
Oh, wow.
So,
I mean, one of them is defunct now, and it's not the Japanese one. So
yeah,
maybe it has something to do with that.
Yeah, definitely. So this is just gonna next year. This is gonna be an issue 1. They're gonna stop doing this counting. It's just gonna be 12 issues every year.
And that's what the Japanese Jump does, sort of. They reset the countdown every year. So every year there's a different issue, 33, 34. Depending on when they release them, which is weekly instead of monthly.
Right. All right. Here we got Go. We got Hikaru no Go. Makes its move. We wanted to ask Chris, are we Go?
I did not go very far with that one.
We are so Go, though.
We are so Go.
We are so Go.
We have to do as much Go as possible.
We are so Go. Boom. Go.
Yeah.
Boom. Go.
This annoyed the hell out of me.
Boom. Okay. Yeah, this wasn't great. You don't want to open the magazine to like a color page of a manga.
Right, and not only that, if
you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to start reading right now. This is all Go. We're going to go. We're ready to go. We're going. Oh.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to this cover real quick. No, actually, this is good. We covered it.
Yeah.
So, why is this here, you know?
I mean, they're trying to build up as much excitement as possible. Just this format is kind of like... It implies a degree of, like, extravagance to this manga that it doesn't have on its own, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what you're talking about. But what I will say is, printing-wise, here's the seam. It's like it's on this page. You can kind of see the glue over here. So on the first 2 pages of every jump are really just attached to the cover when they print this thing and insert it in here. So this page was printed with every cover. It's attached to the cover. When you move the cover, the page moves.
Yeah.
The rest of the pages don't move. So that's a weird flex for them to do, to have this. There's so much here before you get to the story.
Yeah, I think there's another...
And this is a bad opener.
6 pages?
Also. This is just, he finds a board and say, hey, maybe it's worth something, and then you move on. And also, look at this bright pink, very distracting Kid Buu page on the right side for Budokai 2 that's coming out soon.
Yeah.
This friggin' game was sweet. Like, Hikaru knew whatever. Kid Buu. Somewhere here is Joe Duffy, her name, translating Naruto.
Yeah. Is the format a little different?
I don't think so.
Oh.
We opened with this. That's
right, for some reason, I hadn't ever noticed this page. I think I'm just misremembering what I've reviewed so far.
It's a 12. This magazine is still new, being at 13 issues in. So there's a lot of inconsistencies. This might be on this side sometimes.
Yeah.
And maybe this page is a little different. Maybe they don't waste the whole page on it. They had the time in this issue, though, clearly. With more Doc Hack Quarantine. This video game I don't know anything about. Yeah, it says as seen on Cartoon Network. I've never seen this, whatever this is.
It must be ads for it.
So
on Cartoon Network, maybe?
So odd. More Yu-Gi-Oh! This is really, if you guys watched the last issue that we did, it was very clear that the world is becoming very familiar with this character and his game. Yeah. And this magazine is really spearheading that. This is how you get a lot of these like really collectible cards, like Red Eyes Black Dragon, which has an alternate art straight out of this specific magazine.
It's cool. This is cut out on the copy I read of this.
Yeah, I don't have. I probably put this on my wall somewhere or something like that. But there would be a card here that was like glued in, and you would like peel it off, and you'd peel all the glue off of it. And I don't have that card anymore, or I would show you guys. But we're gonna move on. Another ad for another Yu-Gi-Oh game.
Yeah.
Can't stress how much Yu-Gi-Oh we're doing. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a go. This is a waste of time as well. And Shonen Jump fans, I don't mean to be that guy who's like, oh, don't read this, don't read this. Read it if you want. I just didn't get anything out of here. They're trying to teach you a little thing about Go. You don't need to know Go to read this manga. I want to stress that pretty hard.
It's a very typical sports manga in that way.
If anything, it's going to get you to maybe want to play Go.
Which is kind of the reason they're publishing it, I guess. Like, they mentioned in Japan it started a little bit of a Go resurgence.
Yeah, they're not trying to do that in America, I don't think. They're just trying to...
But I think it was clearly popular enough to start a cultural movement amongst kids.
Here's why this thing is in here. This Yugi, this guy's face, that's why this is in here.
Okay.
Because this is a game and this is an anime, and they need more game animes because that's what's selling. So here's another game anime. If they could have got their hands on Pokemon or Digimon, they would have, but that's a little too late, Jump.
More Yu-Gi-Oh!
I can only imagine how even Pokemon never went through Shonen Jump. Like, what happened? Somebody denied somebody else, and then, like, somebody else picked it up, and Shonen Jump's been kicking themselves ever since, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. Shueisha or whoever.
I don't even know.
Because there is a pretty successful Pokemon manga. I can think of at least 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It started out as a manga to my knowledge.
No, it was a game first.
It was a game? Well, all right. Well, they probably had enough money to print their own manga then.
Yeah.
More Go stuff.
Yeah. This is another page that's completely ripped out of my version, so I just stopped trying to read the Go article because it just gets cut off a little bit. Oh, no, it doesn't.
No, there's just a really, really cool Dark Tournament ad on the other side.
Yeah, I'm missing out.
I almost ripped this page out of here at the age of 30.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This is so
This
cool.
is a t-shirt now, by the way. Just this half of the image. I have this shirt.
Oh, that's silly. What a ripoff.
Yeah.
It should have been the whole thing.
I know. Why can't I get Kuwabara in
The
here?
whole thing should have been the shirt. You can see how like stoked we are for this compared to the other stuff that you've seen in this Jump already. This thing is turning a tide. It's becoming way more Americanized. It's going from
And
whatever
more
their American
Yu-Gi-Oh! Eyes. It's really focusing. We mentioned at the beginning that Dragon Ball Z and Yu-Gi-Oh! Are the 2 major pillars of Shonen Jump. Dragon Ball Z's its major base of popularity is sort of going away because the anime is about to end in its run in North America. The games are about to, slowly all come out with
Chris,
their
you
major
got your
releases.
history a little confused. I was going to let you go on this tirade for a little while, but I got to stop you. Dragon Ball Z never disappears. It never
disappears.
Never loses hype. Never loses popularity. Whatever you're thinking it's losing, it doesn't. It gets more and more and more popular. The difference is there is no immediate attachment card game product ongoing that's stimulating the audience every day, weekly, tournaments, events going on.
Right.
You're thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Every day. Dragon Ball Z is something you think about when it airs on Toonami. And then you're like, oh, I got to play this video game that's coming out and stuff.
Right.
It's just a different beast, but it's the same kind of effect. Like, this is affecting the nerds who want to play card games and the nerds who collect stuff and stuff like that. Dragon Ball Z is affecting all those other nerds that are just, like, into action and cartoons and all the cool stuff and the hair and all that stuff. We will not put down Dragon Ball Z. But that being said, what I meant was you were kind of you took my statement and you kind of twisted it. I said that this is becoming more of an American magazine. You were like, it's becoming more Yu-Gi-Oh-ized. That's what I mean. Here's an example of a cultural Japanese manga.
Right.
Here's an example of not as culturally Japanese. I'd argue culturally everything else with the Egyptian lore and everything else. It's very American in that way. What is America but a blending pot of a bunch of cultures and stuff? It's more relatable. Like the teenagers here seem more like the teenagers in America than friggin' Yoda skipping school and hanging out with ghosts and stuff like that. This is not going to be relatable at all. We're going to find out. It's way too Japanese.
Right.
Way too Japanese. And then like Naruto is just a fun, good, like Dragon Ball Z kind of thing. There's not a lot you could take out of that. Think about it every day. Play the card game. Get your life involved in it and stuff. This could become your life right now. And that's what I'm really getting at. That's where this magazine is going. America's gravitating to this like crazy. If that's what your readership is, what are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
You saw those surveys that they kept pumping out. This is the result of those surveys.
And not only that, we kind of brushed over it, but what they're doing for their anniversary is just pretty much releasing that Yu-Gi-Oh! Card.
This is also another result of those surveys, is getting more game mangas in this magazine. That being said, whoever's filling out those surveys did us a disservice, because this takes up way too much space for way too long.
Yeah.
And also, not as original in theory either. This is being created by two different people.
Yes.
The artist had nothing to do with the creation of this until they got brought on by the editor to draw the thing that somebody else was writing.
Right.
Very uninspired stuff. It's really like we needed to take advantage of a hype, so let's put this manga together finally and take advantage.
It's also the most recent Jump manga. This one has just ended. It did a run from 1999 to 2003.
Yeah, and so it didn't have that much opportunity to see what it looked like after it ended.
Right.
Which isn't good, I don't think. I don't think there's much of a following for this one. Definitely not.
Although, interestingly enough, I looked up both the team. The writer's gone on to do pretty much nothing. Yeah. This is the artist for Death Note.
Okay.
So... But, I mean, I feel like that's one of the most...
But he didn't write Death Note either?
No, he's just the artist. That and Bakuman is also a writer-artist team. But I just felt like it was interesting because kind of we're in this, like, weird period where Death Note's going to become one of the most popular animes in the world, pretty much. And we're, like, right before then. This is the manga that was, like, right preceding it. Death Note is now being serialized as this is being serialized in US Jump. So, you know, we're getting to see this artist's, like, kind of first... exposure with popularity, which I think is interesting enough.
Yeah,
so that's the only major takeaway.
If there's anything to say about this manga is that the art's fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's honestly probably more competent than a book like Naruto, I'd even say.
No, I think the art is actually quite good in this one. I like it quite a bit.
I think it's very plain. That was
it
my
is.
complaint.
It's a little... It's like what you see in a How to Draw Anime book a little bit, you know, that very industrialized style. Yeah,
which this feels like an industrial-made manga to me. So
yeah,
this whole thing just it wasn't swallowable to me. Even at a young age, I should make that very apparent. At the age of like 11 years old, and I'm reading this, I was not into it.
Yeah,
and that's exactly the age group that they want to jump onto this thing. And it just didn't happen. I also like that this looked like a cigarette in his mouth. That was definitely a editor slipped up on that situation. Yeah.
Go. This is a cool page.
Yeah, this is fine. He's like there's this spirit that possesses him, and the spirit wants him to play Go, and he doesn't want to play Go.
Yeah.
And then he plays Go.
Yeah, the spirit makes him vomit every time he mentions not wanting to play Go, so he's kind of coerced into doing it.
It's not even like a spirit makes him vomit.
No, it's her intense sadness makes him vomit.
His auto immune system response to her intense sadness inside of his subconscious.
Yeah, weird.
Not even gonna touch that. Here's a shiny bald head. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, go. You know, you gotta go. When you gotta go, you gotta, you know.
Yeah.
This also took up mad chapters. Forgot all about that. This thing has like 2 or 3 chapters.
No, it's a first chapter, so it's gonna go on forever.
Oh, is that what's going on? It's just super long.
Yeah.
This thing
it is actually super long. It is like 40 pages.
Forever.
It's like triple the length of a normal manga.
Jeez.
You know what I'll give this manga credit for, though? I feel like this did a better job teaching me Go than the other, they're like actual professional Go expert trying to teach me Go. Which is not much, but...
Yeah.
I read that article like twice. I was mad confused about like how I'm supposed to play this game, and I'm like really trying with this one. I didn't get anything.
Remember all the Rurouni Kenshin stuff for no reason? Just Rurouni Kenshin's just going to show up eventually, and they're just telling us all about it before it shows up.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, realistically, how are you going to do a manga with like this without at least teaching your audience the basics of how to play the damn thing, right?
Well... I mean, that's what they did in Japan.
That's what they did in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what they did in Pokemon. That's what they did in Digimon. You name a manga that has even just a little bit of game influence, you get the rules, like, almost immediately.
Yeah.
There's like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Moment, I'd say. There's like a bully, and the main character wants to take the bully down via a game. And then it doesn't. It gets out of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Moment real quick. This guy just turns this upside down like Yusuke would in YuYu Hakusho. Pisses everybody off. There is some, like, it's real jumpy. It's very shonen.
Yeah.
I just don't, there's nothing here. There's no depth. There's no desire. There's no story really even being told outside of this. The spirit is like some feudal Japan cultural character that has history and committed suicide because it tripped up its master and stuff. And so that's where this is going overall. And this kid's gonna like learn how to be a better human or something through the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're moving on.
More Go stuff.
The background on the historical info in Go.
Yeah. Which we pretty much skipped over.
Fine. The only thing I really took away from this is this headgear is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Some headgear they used to wear in ancient Japan. Then we have Naruto. This chapter was sweet.
Yeah.
Sashimi Kishimoto over here giving us a 2-page spread. Even though this is like more than a 1-page spread, right?
Yeah.
So because if you cover this up, then it's more than 1 page collectively.
You know, it's kind of a bold 2-page spread because it's kind of boring, but it just goes to show off the Mexican standoff element of what's happening.
Mexican standoff implies like 3 different parties, but distance here. Distance.
Standoff.
Yes. Boom. This character's back, and now we know what's up with them via Naruto because they're hanging with the other evil person.
Yeah.
Forgot all these names now.
Haku's
They're totally like on this other page, and I'm just opting out of reading this.
Yeah.
Yes, this is gonna be a fight, and people are gonna get angry and stuff. You know, Naruto.
Yeah. But we really don't focus on that fight for a little bit. It's more the bulk of this chapter is about the kid and learning to be brave because
the bridge builder's grandson.
Yeah, he goes. There's this guy. He doesn't want the bridge to be built. He sends assassins after this kid's mom to pretty much coerce him into not building the bridge in case the ninjas fail.
And the dude sent the ninjas. The dude sent the assassins. They really don't want this bridge built.
Yeah, it would ruin their exports or something.
So they're gonna try and kill the mom. Then they think
it's all
about killing
this
the kid.
little crybaby kid learning to be brave, and then Naruto shows up to help him. There's some pretty good paneling throughout. I feel like.
Yeah. This chapter was a big payoff from what you've been reading so far. And there's just a lot of stuff. Like you could tell that all of the characters that
I
he's
would almost say
drawing
this is the emotional climax of this story because all that we have left to do is fight Haku and Zabuza.
Yeah, probably. You can tell that all the characters are really fleshed out and drawn. You can tell that he's drawn them a bunch of times. They all look really well done. These simple panels do a big service to what's going on too. Letting you concentrate on the character that's sad and stuff, putting the emotions in there, even just using like the Zipatone and stuff to darken things. Really good paneling, you're right. Yeah. I'm running out of stuff to say about Naruto here, Chris. This book, as usual, is the one thing that I really still want to just read all the way through.
This is sweet, though.
Yeah, it is. It's all good looking. Actually, this page looks like crap, but everything else looked really good up till this page. I was looking at. I think it's Takahashi's splash pages later in Yu-Gi-Oh, and I looked at his splash page, and I flipped it back to this, and I was like, Kishimoto boy, he needs some help. I don't even know what it is about this. That's like, because I know what's happening.
I don't know either. I like this one.
It's messy. It's I don't know.
I think it's these speed lines. I just don't like them.
It's
very
right
much.
here. This pose is really awkward. This arm is really awkward. These speed lines don't look proper. Like here's him kicking up, right? He's kicking up, right? Why is this guy going down? You know, and why is his foot coming in that way? And then this doesn't help. This looks like an American thing. There was probably Japanese lettering here that looked like way better.
Yeah.
And then they took it out and they put this POW here and it looks awful. So maybe this isn't all Kishimoto's fault, but this is not as good a splash page as I've seen in my life, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But then his paneling goes back to really strong, really solid. These manga artists, they concentrate on drawing people and faces and stuff and emotions on the stuff. And so it shows, especially in this guy. This is okay. This is probably what I was thinking. Like, this is night and day.
Yeah. No, that's sick.
This is crazy, and this is like, wow, he must have hit a deadline, huh?
I mean, this is kind of easier, to be honest. It's a static character with a cool snake around him.
I don't care if it's easier. What matters to me is, does it look cool?
Yeah. I'm just saying it's easier to make this look cool. That's all I'm saying.
All right. I've seen some fine splash page action shots by a multitude of people drawing manga and comics that look fine. Kishimoto doesn't deserve any more excuse than anyone else. But here's Sasuke doing stuff.
Fighting the other dude.
Fighting the other guy. They're like crying, complaining together or something.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm missing something here. I feel like there's like an emotional beat that happens between Sasuke and something somewhere.
Yeah, this dude doesn't want to kill him. I feel like that might be what we're talking about. He's kind of like, I don't know, lamenting the fight that he has to have.
Right.
Meanwhile, Sasuke's he's kind of confident right now.
Yeah.
He's like, I finally caught up to you in speed. Or whatever.
Yeah,
he's feeling good about himself.
This person isn't as terrible as we think they are.
No.
Or even maybe they are as terrible as we think they are, and we don't think that they're that terrible.
Yeah.
And I think, like, even this guy, he's like...
does he really want to spare his opponent?
He's confused at the intentions from his partner.
Right.
Here's another mess.
Yeah.
But, the paneling's pretty okay. But, like, what's that?
The scarf moving.
I'm just trying to say his action's not great.
No. I just don't like his speed lines, to be honest. This is cool, I guess.
What is action in manga but speed lines?
I mean, how often does Toriyama really use them? Not as much as I think he does. Because we're going to that
pretty
Piccolo
often
versus 17 fight.
You'll see Piccolo do a kick. There'll be speed lines on the kick and stuff.
But, like, this is every panel almost. Unless there's no motion. Toriyama can get away with, like, some really good static poses that, like, also show motion.
I mean, Kishimoto's... there's no comparison to Akira Toriyama. Akira Toriyama's better.
Yeah.
Period. No hands down. It's not even right. You shouldn't even be doing that to him. Kishimoto doesn't deserve that, Chris.
They're in the same
He's trying
magazine.
his best. Okay? He's breaking panels, okay?
Yeah.
So this is fun. Even this was better than all of those other pages, too. I'm still not, like, 100% on what's happening on this page. Thankfully, it tells us.
Yeah, shit's being summoned.
It tells us right here exactly what these things are. But it does look cool.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. This is a really wild battle. They show us a bunch of different techniques. They show us the, like, strengths, weaknesses of both our teams.
Yeah.
They give Kakashi a moment to really show off, too. And not in, like, a flashy way, just in a way that he saves his little students.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Kakashi then. Who breaks the... Oh, it's Naruto.
Naruto,
Yeah, Naruto is the one who shows up.
Kakashi's kind of locked in a stalemate, because if he moves, Zabuza's going to move on him.
Right.
So he can't really worry about Sasuke right now.
Yes, there was a moment somewhere in here where Zabuza, like, sneaked up on Kakashi and stalemated him, but totally missed that in this. Maybe it's, like, over here.
It's around here.
Somewhere. Anyway, Naruto shows up. He is the main character. He is the name of this manga, so goes to show that he has the thing that saves the day. Woo! And then we move on
to Dragon Ball Z.
Which is totally unfair, because we just spent a whole bunch of time with Hikaru no Go for no good reason. And that was barely any Naruto.
Yeah.
And here is Dragon Ball Z. Here is officially the end of the Android saga. It's a sad realization. I can point it down to a panel.
It's when Cell shows up?
No, it's when Android 17 looks at Cell terrified. That's when you know. That's when you know.
Because the power dynamic is like shit.
Yes. Yep.
Nice.
Because he's the villain right now. This is our hero. Here's the villain. And they're fighting. And they're doing their thing. And then Goku's all like, there's another villain coming. And they keep fighting. They keep doing their thing. You're right. Here's some action, right? Here's some speed lines, though.
Yeah.
And here's a little bit of speed lines. This isn't as much.
But it's not cluttering the image as much. This is still a strong silhouette.
No, and that's another thing I was trying to say.
It's not being broken by line.
Like, my complaints on Kishimoto was also the poses that he was using on this one page. This doesn't
it
work.
is a little funky.
But Toriyama could put something on a page that looks like it's supposed to be in a movie.
Yeah.
So,
I think we've described his paneling as cinematic before, just the way it moves.
for sure. So this fight's pretty sweet. Everything looks really good. Dragon Ball Z is an instant classic of sci-fi craziness and adventure and all of the science fiction you want. So there's not much to be said here other than this shit is dope.
Yeah, I like how he even gets a little characterization in this fight with, like, 17. Like, with this whole, like, save the Earth line and stuff. You kind of, like, get the image of his priorities.
This is, there is a moment here you finally realize that 17 looks like he intends on hanging out on this planet for a while. Yeah. Maybe not killing everybody, even. Just trying to have some fun, like a teenager would.
Yeah.
Fighting. Speed lines. Better ones.
Yeah.
But still lots of speed lines. Not as many as Kishimoto, because Kishimoto doesn't know what he's doing with the speed lines. Right. He's just throwing them everywhere.
I believe we learned he was self-taught, too, so that kind of...
I thought the Shaman King guy was self-taught.
Again, he worked with Oda on Rurouni Kenshin.
Confusing this guy, and it's because the Shaman King guy's stuff looks so obnoxious.
Yeah.
Whereas, like Kishimoto's stuff looks like Dragon Ball Z, and, and Oda's stuff looks like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto a little bit.
Yeah.
But, like, Shaman King, what does that look like? Like, maybe Osaka?
It looks like
Astro Boy type stuff?
It looks like an American cartoon to me.
Corny, newspaper panel strip type stuff.
Yeah. I don't know.
It does look like Hellboy occasionally, yeah. Cell's coming.
Cell is coming. Tien is also coming.
Tien doesn't know what to do. Here's a really tiny image. Here's Toriyama's worst panel in the whole chapter, maybe even in chapters.
Yeah.
This just doesn't... Her hand's way too big than her stomach area here. The head doesn't work out. You could tell he needed this image and just went, whatever.
Yeah.
And it still doesn't even look that bad. It actually makes Bulma look kind of cute, but it's not the intention. She's some 30-something-year-old woman now with a kid or two, so that's a complicated one. Here we go. Where is it? Where's the panel? Oh, it's coming. Is it here?
Yeah.
That's not
almost.
That's not it.
I do like this image of Cell rocking up.
Where is it? Where is this panel? I don't know where you are, but get lost. I'm trying to have fun here. Boom, 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 boom. And... No, I guess it was this panel in my eyes over here. You were right.
Where Cell rocks up?
It's this one. What is that? Weird looking thing. And then now Cell's officially the star of the show. Yeah. Right?
Not only that, he's so much better than Piccolo in like 3 chapters. He just kind of moves past him, which is such an anime thing to do. You know?
Yeah.
So beyond you.
After we just made Piccolo look real badass.
Yeah.
Real sweet. Big muscles. Taking down the androids. No problem.
And this is our kind of swan song for Piccolo. He's never going to be this cool again. At least not for a couple decades.
I think he's incredibly useful, though. He's one of the smarter fighters we have. And his intelligence is definitely worth something over the course of Dragon Ball Z. Whereas, what does Tien do?
I mean, yeah.
What does Yamcha's super bright input have to... We're not even.
I'm going to try and fight Majin Buu and die.
Run, 17! It's too powerful for you!
Yeah.
You can just hear it. Alright, YuYu Hakusho. Well, what's happening? Was that a chapter? We get a chapter now of these things?
Of Dragon Ball Z? That was at least 2.
Ah, jeez, it went so quick.
It moves. We've talked about that. The pacing in Z is so good.
You can read probably Dragon Ball Z in a day.
I have. I've read whole arcs of Dragon Ball Z in a 4-hour sitting, just because I feel like it.
Impressive stuff. YuYu Hakusho, which is probably also going to move.
Yeah.
These YuYu Hakusho and Z have the best action sequences I think ever in this magazine. These guys are just so well talented at what they're putting down on paper. This is all just character shots. Just a whole bunch of character shots.
Yeah.
There's even more. It's been 6 pages of characters. 6, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters. Everything looks great. Everybody looks great.
Yeah.
Everybody looks great.
Togashi has a good art style.
Here, boom. Look, this was probably put in just like that POW. And looks so much better. Like, it looks like he's almost gripping the whack, like trying to grab himself from falling.
Right.
How cool is that?
It's a good directional though.
This is really well done. And then, boom! Again, almost the same direction. On top of that, keeping consistency where your characters are in the panels and stuff. This Togashi boy, this Togashi. What is this? Who cares?
Yeah, he just... We're gonna get another one later on where he just makes a character up in, like, a panel.
I love it!
It's really funny.
I love it! Why is this here, you know? What the hell? Alright.
We talked about manga just, like, making, like, throwing together a panel.
Yeah.
It's not just him, like, I don't know what to put here. Let me sketch something for fun. And no one can... Again, like, look at this Kuwabara shot. Who cares about that mouse after this Kuwabara shot? That looks freaking incredible.
Yeah. Yeah, it even looks like weirdly truncated and it looks great.
Yeah.
Here's a third strike. The same fall, same way, same direction, same placement of characters.
Moving us from right to left.
Yes.
In this really nice
straight into this
device.
crack.
And doing paneling like that sells motion. Now, even without having like the poses in the scene almost don't matter. The way you can direct a page almost sells the action as much. That's what's something that Togashi and Toriyama both understand really well. Not only that, I walked away from this chapter a little unsatisfied because I know Togashi's going to get better at action paneling.
Yeah.
I just got a bunch of the Dark Tournament manga.
Yeah, I know it. I don't think it's out yet, but I know this dude is doing it. I know Hunter x Hunter is coming back, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what his lines look like. Would it get canceled again?
Yeah, he did 10 chapters, and then he's coming back again.
Okay.
But I would look up Hunter x Hunter artwork and his lines.
Okay.
He frequently releases layouts of chapters.
Oh. Okay.
His declining health has made it so that his line is a little worse than it was before.
Oh, no.
Although, the major upside of that is when the volume release comes out, he tends to fix it. He tends to re-ink all his stuff, which is unfortunate for him.
He's not hiring somebody. I'm sure there's somebody out there.
He is a crazy perfectionist.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Is there stuff out there you can like watch him interviews and stuff? Yeah. Like, I gotta look this up. I love Togashi so much. This manga.
Togashi. The reason YuYu Hakusho ends is as the artwork gets more complicated and detailed, he gets closer and closer to that deadline, and he never hires an assistant. Because he doesn't want to offload the work.
He does it all himself?
For a point. I feel like he might have an assistant now, but there was, especially Dark Tournament, Sensui Arc, he was doing that all by himself. Trying to,
What? Yo!
trying to keep up deadlines.
There are
fucking killing himself.
There are way dumber, simpler manga than this, and mangaka that have like 8 assistants.
One Piece has 4 assistants.
The 4 is like a small number, even. Like there are people that have like whole ass studios in their garage.
Even
they just go in and they draw the faces. Yeah. Wow, man. Okay, while he's doing all this great paneling, by the way, he's pissing Kuwabara off.
Yeah.
Kuwabara is just slowly just getting defeated, so much so that he's channeling all of his rage into his fist, and this thing happens. He summons a life force sword.
Yeah.
Sword of energy, but how did I do it? And then he beats this dude. I don't think he kills him. I think it's very apparent that like this dude
Kuwabara's
is
a cool dude.
You know, he's just gonna leave him alone.
He's a punk, not an assassin.
Let me point out too another thing. Here's speed lines, right? And here's another really interesting way of doing speed lines because these are still speed lines. They're just different.
Just an interesting layout.
These are going this way. These are going this way. These are going this way and are really effing tight.
Yeah.
And these are bending.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Like, wow, like, you want to send eyes and directions? Like, you want to, dude, Togashi should call Kishimoto up and be like, yo, homie, come over, I'm going to hook you up with some speed lines.
This page stops at the end of the action, because it goes here. Kuwabara is kind of a hard stop back up.
Yeah.
How he's oriented, which works, because it's the end of a fight.
Yeah.
And it leaves you, like, almost satisfied. You stay on this beat longer.
Yes. And here's a changement of placements. Here's where Kuwabara has been for 3 panels and is not now.
It's
and here's
pretty
where
much
Kuwabara
the same
is.
panel.
It's basically the same panel.
Which is the only maybe criticism you can have. But if it works, like, why am I going to complain about
why
it?
you do it. It's funny. It's like a joke. It's like a joke right here. This
is still a different pose, too. Kuwabara looks great.
So good. Okay. All right. There's a note on this other page I wanted to make. Don't eat Shonen Jump graphic novels. Buy them.
Yeah.
Okay, Cory, you're gonna keep
they say crap like that all the time.
Yeah, but that one's funny.
Yeah.
Fan art is cool. It's a underutilized image of Hiei.
Yeah.
It's talking about strong shadows and stuff. Like, you can barely even tell what the hell that is, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
More character stuff, filling up the pages.
Yeah.
This is cool, too. Just an image of some cigarettes. The only manga where the character is a smoker.
Yeah.
I have a feeling this only even got in here because of how old this manga is. I don't think this is what they want. I think editors try to shade them away from this kind of stuff these days. But, early 90s.
I mean, Chainsaw Man was in Shonen Jump, and that has some pretty wild shit.
I'd say that now, though, after so many years, now there's more room for them to do stuff like that and not feel like they're influencing the tobacco industry.
Right.
Whereas, like, during time, there was, like...
Oh, no, kids might have picked up cigarettes because Yusuke Urameshi does.
Right. Nowadays, I don't think kids even interested in smoking cigarettes
they
anymore. They just vape. Yeah. Really strong stuff. This is just more of that, like, the Kuwabara stuff that was happening before Yusuke. Yusuke's put into the situation where he has to use his spirit energy and try to track his opponent instead of relying on his dumb street knowledge.
Right.
That they even acknowledged earlier. His best like suit is like he's a street fighter.
Right.
Can a number 1 fighter at Seriosky Junior High can punch out the best of them.
Is it the page when him and Kuwabara, they're all the characters are introducing themselves, and Kuwabara's like, I'm a punk, and Urameski's like, I'm a super punk.
Yeah, that's another one. It's just an example over and over. This is not his strong suit.
No.
But
honestly, he really never gets the full hang of it, but he finds a clever punk-esque solution to get around it.
Right, which in fighting is just as acceptable of a way.
Right. And it makes Yusuke... I say this all the time. Yusuke is one of the most interesting protagonists because he's not as natured to good as most other protagonists.
Yeah.
He kind of... borders. He has overall good intentions, but, He
reminds me of Hellboy in that same way. I know.
Yeah.
I feel like we mention Hellboy every time we pull out Shonen Jump.
It's because they mention Hellboy every time we pull out Shonen Jump.
Well, there's just a lot of similarities between Mike Mignola and your average mangaka.
Yeah.
If you break it down. Outside of the assistants, but at a point in time, Mike Mignola goes, I don't want to draw this anymore. And so he hires other people to do it. So that's why we keep saying it. Those, like Hellboy's not written like a shonen at all, but it's got a lot of shonen feels to it because Hellboy...
there's that cultural, spiritual aspect.
That too, but also a lot of Hellboy is him just being a young guy trying to find himself, and what is a shonen also at the end of the day.
That's what shonen means. It means young boy.
Yeah. It's just not handled in the same style or the same format or the same way.
It's not an action series as much.
No, it's definitely like a detective mystery horror. For the most part, adventure odyssey kind of thing. Back to the task at hand, we have some really strong-looking strength shots for our armor master.
There's a panel of Goku that looks like this, when he's charging up against Piccolo.
Maybe even ripped for usage by Togashi, who knows?
I
wouldn't put it away.
Yeah.
You take from the masters,
This is the panel I was talking about before.
This is great, too, though, because he ties this one in for no reason. He's like, this is Botan's friend, and there's a joke here. It says, nothing thrills her more than to spot a hot guy and tell him he's going to die. You're gonna buy it next month. Because we totally are. Cute. I'm gonna buy another issue of Yu Yu Hakusho next month. Yeah, this is totally worth our time. There's no good placement for it.
It's mid-combat, but is like...
Do you know how pissed I would be if this was in One Piece? If out of One Piece they did all the normal One Piece thing and then just wasted a panel.
Yeah.
Because One Piece is already wasting every panel, too. So they've wasted the story and then threw this shit here. I'd be pissed off. But this is all so good that you get to this and it's like, almost needed that.
I feel like we also have an amount of goodwill towards Togashi that we don't have for, or at least you don't have for Oda.
Listen, I ain't got no problem with the guy. I just think that he needs to do something worth something.
Yeah.
I can say that this is worth something.
Yeah.
I could say that Dragon Ball Z is worth something in a different way because of what it does after popular media, manga, what it influences, everybody that came after it, right? One Piece has probably inspired some mangas somewhere, but I don't know if I want to read those.
Right.
I don't know that I actually like what Oda's doing. I appreciate his hustle. I appreciate that the dude probably had a story that he wanted to put out there.
I think that's why people like One Piece too, though, is because it is still somehow different from most other shonen. You know, if you hear, I'm a big JJK fan right now, and that guy's main inspirations are this and Bleach, which I hear about Bleach all the time. I just finished reading it. Tai Kubo is one of the most consistent artists in Shonen Jump.
I feel like Bleach is your manga's manga.
It is, for sure.
It's like,
but again,
people who do manga really like that manga because it's drawn really well.
It's the only manga that has an increasing quality. Naruto, One Piece, I both think of them as declining in artistic quality.
I'd even say that they managed the Bleach power level thing pretty well. That's a shonen.
Yeah.
That's a shonen where power levels are super important, and all of the people's different powers are very important. And they managed to keep you interested in damn near all of the characters throughout the entirety of the series. You can't even say that about Dragon Ball Z.
For sure. They keep them all relevant and interesting.
Yeah.
That's great stuff.
That being said, I don't like Bleach. I think it's drawn really well.
Yeah.
But, like, the story is not... There's no depth to Bleach. Or, I can't say that. It's not no YuYu Hakusho. You're really following the story of Ichigo. And, like, you're trying to figure out who he is.
Yeah.
And kind of, like, by using everybody around him and who he's going to turn out to be at the end of the day. Which is kind of what Yusuke is doing, too, but... I don't know. There's something about Bleach that it's too much. Maybe it's too much front loaded on the powers and the spirit
honestly,
stuff.
I just think most of it is too long. I just there's an arc that takes. So there's 3 box sets of Bleach.
Yeah.
2 of them have 2 arcs in it, which is pretty solid.
Yeah.
One of them has 1, which means that's almost like 20 volumes of manga that is all the Arankar arc.
So
it's long.
He stretches things out.
Not only that, like you said. One of his strengths is that he focuses on the side characters a lot, and that fucking drags it.
That will drag it, yeah.
There is fights that involve no one of the main cast, and there'll be like 5 or 10 of them.
Yeah. So, but, I mean, it's still, like, even I can appreciate that if I like the characters enough.
Yeah.
I don't, and so we're not there. We're here. We're on YuYu Hakusho.
Where all the characters are great.
Yeah. Even the dudes
that
get defeated are cool. Like this dude in his armors and stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet.
They're all different too. I appreciate that. And this is kind of like a proto tournament. He's testing that skill set as he prepares to do a much larger tournament.
Yeah, I'd even go as far as to say that he's like preparing his audience.
Yeah.
There's another word I was looking for, but I can't think of it. What it is?
Yeah, me too.
Whatever you do before you paint, what do you do when you
priming?
Yeah, he's like priming his audience for the Dark Tournament to come, and everything Togashi does is priming his audience for the next chapter.
Yeah,
every chapter. This is really so. They're gonna explain it in a moment, but it's really smart. He has a cigarette that we saw earlier. He lights it and he sticks it in this guy's like gi.
Yeah,
here's like his like little.
Which is so like thick and dark that he just doesn't even notice.
And the place is so dark. Well, he's got a helmet on.
Right.
So the place is so dark that they're fighting in that even the smallest bit of light, like a cigarette, will show you where your opponent is. So Yusuke uses that as like a location to know where his opponent is. He shoots the dude. Dude loses, and the chapter's over. Shit, I keep doing that. I gotta stop ripping these. These pages are made of nothing, Jump fans.
Yeah.
Boy, do I wish I had one of these foil covers.
Right? I was like, oh, how much is that worth now?
I don't know.
Is it worth anything? Because people might not even know these exist.
No, I'm sure they're worth something.
Yeah.
If the jump number one was $30, these are probably like $20 or $30.
Oh, yeah.
Here's another really cool double-page splash YuYu Hakusho ad. It's cooler than all the Yu-Gi-Oh ads put together.
Something like, there's more than one way to beat a demon, here's 4. I think that's exactly what it says.
Yeah. It is. It's backwards because
I know
they should have swapped these pages, but
it's weird going how this magazine is oriented because it does expect you to just readjust yourself sometimes,
constantly,
from left to right to right to left.
Yeah, constantly. Because this is the articles read left to right, but then the mangas read right to left.
Right.
Here's the sign of the times, though. The Grand Tour is coming. I assure you. Dragon Ball GT, the trading card game. Z's over. It's over. It's dead. Z is dead. Here's a sign of Z's death. Here's death. That's what killed Z right there. Now we have GT. Akira Toriyama, woo! He's out of there. He's gone. He drew like 4 characters and left.
Yeah.
And then they hired some other dude that seemed really ambitious and desirable.
It was the same character designs just carried over from Z. The guy who was readjusting all Toriyama's designs.
I want to say that this dude, that Toriyama, drew Super Saiyan 4 GT.
Eventually. He didn't design it.
Oh.
He has drawn it.
Okay.
Actually, he's only drawn it once. He did it for Dragon Box, which is these DVD collections in Japan.
Well, in my eyes, that canonizes this.
Yeah.
So he must have liked the style a little bit. That guy doesn't like drawing
He
anything.
worked with, the character designer did a manga for Toriyama, where he did the art and Toriyama drew it. They're pretty close. He enjoyed his designs. He thought, it was either him or the first guy. He thought, he liked the whole anime team.
Yeah.
You know, he's never had any complaints, minus maybe Super. I don't know. He's not very vocal about that kind of thing.
No, I think...
But he was very vocal about enjoying GT, helping that staff continue working off of him, because he was sort of friendly with them.
Yeah, he was a lot younger then, too. More able to be involved in this process. But, so I guess GT, realistically, from what you're telling me, might even have more involvement from Toriyama than Super does.
No.
Which is
Toriyama designs everything in Super. UI, God form, all that stuff.
Great.
Broly.
I'm glad you have all this information, because that's something that I lack, is newer information on all this stuff. I have information for these dates.
And then that show that's coming out soon, I think it's called Daima, is Toriyama has the most influence he's ever had. He's writing most of the scripts. He did most of the designs.
Right.
You can kind of tell it's very Toriyama.
I'll admit I am a little lost in Dragon Ball stuff, because I know there's a YouTube show also that's like the multiverse tournament thing.
Yeah, they do. Okay.
So
do you want me to explain it right now?
No, it doesn't need to be explained. I just know that you could watch Heroes.
Yes.
You could watch Super.
Which is it's a promotional anime for a line of arcade games.
You can watch Heroes, you can watch Super, you can watch this Daima is going to come out eventually, probably manga first, I'd imagine.
I don't think so.
A straight OVA, Dragon Ball OVA.
Pretty much.
I like the concept of that.
Well, because Super is not continuing as an anime as of yet. It's not been announced.
No, but...
It's just a manga.
And that's fine. It's a great manga from what I was reading. I'm glad it's continuing. I had to get around to reading that myself. But it's like I feel like Dragon Ball it might have more opportunity to get more stuff. And then there's all of the fan stuff, and some of that stuff looks really cool.
There's this. I'll send it to you. There's this thing called Kakame. It's like Toriyama's design, sort of filtered through like a One Punch Man aesthetic. It looks really cool.
Okay. Yeah, I wish there was a way to like track all of the people that are making Dragon Ball manga, because I would read some of these fan mangas. I really would. They seem cool. A lot of the designs I've seen seem really rad. Seem like stuff that I could see inside of the show tomorrow.
Right.
And lots of great ideas and like bringing back old characters and putting them to use and doing things and stuff. Like, why don't we have a Dragon Ball show that's just about like Piccolo going off and being useful somewhere?
I mean, it was kind of the movie, but. Whatever.
That just proves concept.
Right.
That's just like there's an audience for this. Make it, we'll watch it. GT is another obvious proof of concept, in fact, too, that like we wanted more Dragon Ball stuff after Z. There was no way we were done with it after Z. And here we are in 2024, and we are still watching Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And I will watch Dragon Ball till I am dead, probably. Here's a another point in time period for the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, this is the only game ad, and it's in the middle.
No, dot hack.
Well, article.
Oh,
we usually get a couple of these.
Yeah, you're right.
They're usually at the end.
Sorry, the ads aren't technically.
Oh no, they're both ads. I just should have readjusted my phrase.
No, you're right. It's not technically an ad. Here's another article.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the only thing I'm going to say about this is, in this pack, the last pack of Dragon Ball Z, love this card game. I still have the cards today. They printed some GT cards.
Yeah.
They printed a Pan, which was cool.
Okay.
So you can get some cards before GT came out. You get a Pan and play Pan in Dragon Ball Z.
Cool.
It just goes to show like Pan is an important character in Z. And this is the direction that we thought Toriyama would have wanted to take after Z ended.
Yeah.
And then these Brawly cards came in the Brawly VHS tape that you could buy that came out around this time.
I think we even saw an ad for that.
Yeah, it was super cool. These Brawly cards were sweet.
Yeah.
And here we have One Piece.
So,
They decided to color this side for it, which is strange.
Yeah. Only question.
Yeah.
Was the GT card game fully compatible with the Z card game?
Yeah, but the power creep was real.
Okay.
Real. Like, you would play your...
So would people almost play the GT card game and the Z card game
You would play...
separately?
Yeah, almost. There's a bunch of staples that got brought over. In a card game, there are cards that you want to play just because they're good in any deck, and they call them staples usually. So there were staples that were brought from this card game into GT because they were the same card game. They had the same... They were completely compatible. The power creep was just so real that most of the cards just cycled out immediately.
Okay.
So,
And that's what killed it, right?
well, this died naturally, and GT started.
Uh-huh.
And then GT, the show ended, and so the card game ended.
Oh, okay.
It just kind of... The companies were like, if we don't have an ad on TV as a TV show for our product, we're not going to keep selling this product. So we're going to call it now before we start losing a bunch of money. Which Bandai is now losing a bunch of money on the Dragon Ball Super card game because there's nothing out there. There's a manga. Here we have One Piece, a super sweet colored little like first page or cover kind of thing.
This one's not my favorite.
Yeah, but these are my favorite parts of One Piece. Even if this one's not your favorite, I still think this is more entertaining than this entire 2 chapters we have here. And then this also looks like something that was definitely in the manga, reprinted here for our sake.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Oda running around having some fun, like categorizing the different powers and stuff. I like Gum Gum Tendinitis.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am going to blow through this, POW fans, Jump fans, because this was concentrated on Pinocchio Nose. Yeah. And Pinocchio Nose is like a liar, and he tries to tell the town about some pirates that are coming.
It's an Aesop fable.
This guy turns out this and a Pinocchio, because he's got a big nose. And then there's this guy, and like he's a pirate, and he's being mean, and he's rude, and he's dishonest. And then there's this guy who I thought was going to be the cook.
No.
So it's like from the back, I thought this was blonde
hair,
the suit. I was like, oh, it's the cook, and then it's not. It's this weird dude.
Yeah.
Django the hypnotist. I thought my favorite character was the dude with the monkey hair and shit from before. New favorite character.
Oh, all right.
Django, man, like a rip from the old West. He's even wearing a cowboy hat. He's got this weird. I don't even know what this is. You know, he walks backwards everywhere.
I think it's a Michael Jackson.
It does kind of look like Michael now you say that, but like why? I don't know. And then he's such a bad hypnotist. He hypnotizes himself every time.
Yes.
So this is just again.
It's a gag.
I like Oda. I really do. I wish Oda could come up with these characters and just hand them to somebody else.
Oh, okay.
So that they could go and like utilize them better.
Yeah.
How often does this guy come back?
A couple times.
All right, that's a win.
Weirdly enough, he joins the Navy. It's like weird. It's like a whole cover story we get. It's
that's
kind of fun.
Hilarious. Yeah. This character is definitely worth their weight. Definitely good inclusion into One Piece. Best part.
He shows up more than Captain Kuro, the butler dude.
I'm not surprised. All right, so compliment on the paneling. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Progression.
Interesting expression work. He's trying things.
Really building a relationship between Luffy and this character, too, which is cool, because this is going to be... Aesop over here is going to be Usopp, whatever his name is. Yeah. He's going to be one of our main characters forever and ever.
Forever and ever.
Yeah, we're going to keep hustling here. Here's some fan art! This is a cool shot of Zoro.
Yeah.
This Shelby Reed.
This is mad funny.
Yeah, I can't say great on everything else. This looks cool, but I can't really tell what Zoro is doing here, so...
Yeah.
This one's alright.
I don't know if we missed it or not, but I talk about this every so often. Oda really has this, he has, like these incentive characters to keep you reading. These characters that he thinks you're interested in, so he'll, drip feed you information about. And the big one right now is Shanks. So that's what we're doing. Usopp's dad is on Shanks' crew. So we learned just a little bit more about Shanks. which is like one of Oda's main driving forces.
He's doing a very bad job of that here, to be honest with you. I don't care about Luffy's dad.
I mean, that's kind of who he is.
I could care less about that dude. You know who I want to find out more about? Bozo the Clown.
Buggy?
That guy. Yeah. Bring that guy back. I can't believe how much I missed that guy. Like 3 chapters later. Like, that guy was hilarious.
Yeah.
He's just like
I'm telling you, he comes back all the time.
I believe it. I think he probably gets tiring after a while.
No, because the gag only gets funnier where it's that each time he fails upwards. He's an emperor right now. He's one of the most important people in the sea, and it's because he keeps failing upwards.
So it's the Gum Gum that's just too powerful.
Yeah.
The Gum Gum's too real.
Or the Chop Chop fruit, or whatever he is.
I'm not going to, and I shouldn't, but I might be interested in if anybody ever did a great job of, like, summarizing this. Like, if there was a One Piece Kai, they ever do a One Piece Kai?
They're literally doing that. It's made by Wit Studio. They're doing a show called The One Piece. It's a summary of East Blue. They also did 2 movies. They did an East Blue summary movie. It's like 40 minutes long. And they did a Skypiea summary movie, which is like 40 minutes long.
40 minutes seems a little too truncated.
Yeah, no. The Skypiea one is especially bad. That is an 100-chapter arc.
I can't do that.
And they skipped an arc.
These aren't Ed Piskor graphic novels.
Yeah.
You can't just shove all this stuff.
I will say, the East Blue movie works surprisingly well. The first one.
But like a Kai version, that seems like everything I need. Because there is so much stuff here you could cut out. Like, I love this character, but I hate everything that's happening around this dude. Okay. Luffy's got to take down this pirate dude, earn Aesop's career or faith confidence. Yeah. I'm a lack of words over here, Jump fans. I'm sorry. One Piece does that to a man.
Luffy falls asleep and they think he's dead, so that's our excuse to get rid of Luffy for a little bit.
Yeah, he just gets hypnotized to sleep and he falls off a cliff. But he's made out of rubber, so it doesn't matter much. But they don't know that, and so they think he's dead. And so they're going to go and terrorize the city, but Aesop runs back there to warn everybody, and nobody trusts him because he's a liar Pinocchio dude.
Yeah, because it's the boy and the wolf or whatever. What's that one?
Yeah, the wolf and the boy or whatever. Yeah. You're close enough. The boy who cried wolf.
The boy who cried wolf. I can't, it's such a weird premise to build an arc off of. It's like, what if he was just, flipping through his bookshelf?
You say that, and this is going to be a weird jump, and Jump fans and POW fans, you can watch our weekly Wednesday Warriors show. I feel like Tom King did the same thing with this Wonder Woman book we're about to review later.
I mean, Animal Pound is 1984. He's even more directly kind of doing...
Oh, I just felt like Animal Pound was like the civil rights movement, but maybe that's what 1984 is about. Did you read Animal Pound?
I haven't yet. I've just heard from Tom King. He's like, yeah, I'm pretty much doing a 1984, but in the modern day.
Well, I don't know what he's. We can't go into this too much. We'll talk more about this on the weekly Wednesday.
Even more though, Dragon Ball is also based on a fairy tale like that.
That's 100%. But I'm trying to speculate that this Wonder Woman issue has basis in a Aesop fable somewhere, or one of those other. There are other Grimm fairy tales, something like that. We have Shaman King.
Yeah.
A bunch of great character designs, great background, 2-page spread. This thing looks sweet, and it looks different than everything else you're reading in this magazine. That grips you, you know? I want to find out what's going to happen with these guys now. I turn the page. We're still doing the same shit we've been doing for the past, 2 chapters.
Yeah.
This is getting boring. I don't like this guy. He's annoying. He's gross. He doesn't look fun.
Yeah.
He's dragging this story out. We've learned what Yo is and what Yo wants to do and what Yo's things are, and here we just have some Amidamaru background.
Yes.
You know, who asked for this? Who asked?
I didn't ask for Shaman King.
Why are we invested in Amidamaru at all? Also, this guy cannot draw feet.
No.
Dude, that's not how feet look. This is I like how he knew he can't draw feet.
Yeah.
You could tell by this panel that this artist knows he can't draw feet. Because he went to town on everything else here.
But the feet. And the legs.
Feet. And so he wanted to make sure your attention is here, roughly.
Yeah. This is a great background.
But then
this is where I can see that this dude might have worked on Rurouni Kenshin.
Doing backgrounds?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're good backgrounds.
Yeah. But his facial stuff is really good.
Yeah,
despite
no,
his
for sure.
inability to draw feet. And, like, here's a fine foot, so. I just can't wait until we're done with this. We do get finally out of this ghost story. Here's like a shonen thing, Giri Buddha.
Yeah.
Like naming their stuff. Shockwave Giri Buddha. Buddha Giri. Sorry. Shockwave Buddha Giri.
He's so cool, he doesn't even hit him.
He names
Whoa.
He broke his sword.
With a wooden sword that he didn't even use.
It's pretty sweet. There's some serious stuff going on here. And then here's the next chapter, and we're still dealing with this dude.
Yeah. He has some kind of crazy sad backstory.
I know I say this all the time with Shaman King, but this reminded me of Scott Pilgrim again.
Oh, yeah.
Just this shot of, like, here's all of our characters. There's a lot of them, and here's what they look like in the snow.
Here's what they're doing, enjoying their little day.
Yeah. Very Scott Pilgrim-y. Like, here's the thing. All right, back to the story.
I think it's really weird that mangaka have, like, this interest in slice of life stuff that they never pursue. They have this, like, almost fantasy of, like, what if I did a slice of life
because
manga?
they can do. I think they do pursue it. It's this. They'll do it in a page and know that they don't need to do anything more.
Right. But it's almost like, this is my just dessert. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
They want to get this out because they know it's happening somewhere. And it's nice to be able to throw your characters into different stuff and see what they look like and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite portion on this is this little thing they built in Amita Maru's snowman.
Mm.
That's great. They're still fighting this guy.
Yeah.
And finally, his gang members, the guy that got taken over, I forgot what his name is, gets beaten up. And somehow that helps, like, them exorcise the ghost out of his body or something. Here's another page that's kind of like that. Like, here's them in, like, a hot tub during the summer with a lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's getting exercised. He gets sent to hell. Something.
Yeah. They're, like, planning to send him to hell, but he's like, I don't care. I've been through hell, and he has some kind of sad
He's
backstory.
trying to kill the dude that he's
Possessing.
possessed. Thank you.
Yeah.
But
I actually forget how this chapter ends.
I can't stress enough. This has gone on for too long. Most of these chapters with Shaman King, this is like 2 chapters. They'll do, like, here's the beginning of the story, here's the ending of the story.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on. More or less and had. But this one really, like, it doesn't. We're still dealing with this in the next goddamn chapter.
Oh, cool.
Okay! Final manga here
Yu-Gi-Oh!
In the book. If you noticed, we spent a bunch of time in Hikaru no Go because it took forever, and then everything else was super fast because it got, like, they were only 2 or 3 chapters.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh's thick, boy.
There's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Thick, boy. You know why? For the same stuff we've been saying since the beginning of this issue, since last issue.
Yu-Gi-Oh's huge.
This is the book now.
Yeah.
This is the book.
It's got a successful cartoon, got a successful card game.
You're buying, and I can say this from life experience, this is what got me to buy this book.
Right.
You buy this book because Yu-Gi-Oh's in it. You buy this because it's going to get you a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Everything else is bonus. Maybe you'll read it. Oh, I've heard of Dragon Ball Z before. Let me read Dragon Ball Z. Oh, YuYu Hakusho's right after that? Okay, I'll check out YuYu Hakusho. Oh, this was actually pretty cool. Oh, I heard there was an anime of this. Like, you start to go and we'll check out the other things.
Right.
This is what's selling the magazine. This is what's getting it off the racks. This is what everybody wanted in the surveys. And this shows. This shows. This is the same amount as Hikaru no Go got in the beginning.
Right, and this is like 3 or 4 chapters.
Yeah, I think it's 4 chapters. Yeah. So we are moving. We got this thing called Chainsaw Deathmatch. There's not a lot to be said here other than this art is so cool.
Yeah. I really like, we're going to see in a little bit, I started writing down that the Chop Man kind of gave me Red Room vibes.
Sure.
Not quite in how he's drawn, but just like this whole premise.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy.
And he does it like a cool design for him. It looks Yu-Gi-Oh-y, but it's also...
It starts out like this.
Yeah.
Even from the last chapter, and he builds upon how terrifying this design is. And he's still managing to keep Kaiba looking menacing, evil, and, like, likable all at the same damn time.
Yeah. I don't even think it's that he's likable. It's that he's so damn entertaining. I just like every word that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah, and it's all pretty ridiculous, too.
Yeah.
Wow, Kaiba, heart. This stuff is really good. All right, like I was talking about, even with Togashi, I was talking about how like there's just a bunch of panels where it's just people, right?
Yeah.
Nothing really going on. Look at all this people where like all of these shots are way more interesting, way more dynamic, way more background going on, keeping you interested, getting you invested in the story and the line work. What's going to happen? This poor anime only suffers from the audience that it's been provided. It just turns into something else.
Yeah.
Here's this really cool design for a monster. He's got a TV in his stomach. He's kind of built like a square robot, but it just makes him look musclier and creepier.
Yeah.
They turn this into a card eventually. I forgot what its name is. Yeah, this is on a card somewhere.
Is Kaiba on that card on his stomach?
No. In fact, I think they detach this, and then he's just like a normal looking
slasher
dude. Yeah. But
like there's hair coming out of the back, and all like again, the idea of the silhouette helps make a good silhouette.
Yeah.
Makes him look unique.
This is another thing. Like I remember, if you've ever watched Pulp Fiction, they like introduce like there's this scene where Bruce Willis is getting a bunch of different. He's looking for a weapon. Uh-huh. He's in a pawn shop. He picks up like a stick, and he's like, "This is cool." And then he sees a knife. He picks up the knife. He's like, "This is cool." And then he sees a baseball bat.
Yeah.
And he picks up the baseball bat. And he's like, "This is cool." And then he sees the samurai sword.
Yeah.
And he finally takes the samurai sword. That doesn't happen, but Schrodinger's cat, I think, is like the thing they say. You can't introduce something without it doing something or whatever.
It's a Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's gun, whatever. Here's Chekhov's chainsaw.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, boom, 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 boom. Okay, choose your weapons. What? Oh, yeah, also, whoever was doing the translation here kind of nailed it. What to cut up with?
Yeah.
Made this guy sound terrifying. Gets this chainsaw. How sweet is this chainsaw? DWJ was just trying to design a chainsaw for this like sci-fi book he's going to do after Transformers.
Oh, cool.
I think somebody should have sent him this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this chainsaw is so cool. And look at this really solid, like,
that's a good elbow.
Stuff. It's really good. Gosh, man. You wanted to talk about like speed lines and usage and stuff, man. There's a lack. There's a good lack of speed lines here. That's really
there's like 1, 2.
And then
this might count.
And then like it's all just like vibrating the actual lines of the thing. And look how much this bends and still is fine.
Yeah. Incredible
stuff. I'm almost sad that like these manga artists get trapped doing this stuff. I wish I could be like, yo, I want Takahashi on my Moon Knight. I want Toriyama on Avengers. I want, this would be so cool to see him do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh man. And rest in peace to Kazuki Takahashi, by the way. That is a serious loss. This man was so capable, and now he's dead. Mm-hmm. So respect to him and respect to the art that he did here. Some really solid stuff. But like, what am I really saying? Like, they're just being put through this maze.
Yeah.
And here's some like letters to the editor. Nothing really said here. They asked some questions about the story of Yugi in the background, and honestly, what some of the responses are, we don't know. Okay, we don't know. Yugi's grandpa's still sick, and Yugi's trying to get him back. That's the whole reason they got into this death tea thing.
Somewhere around there, he says Heart of the Cards for the first time. It's like, oh, that's going to be a thing. I think it's right here.
Yes. Yeah, to save Grandpa, I have to defeat Kaiba with the Heart of the Cards. You're right, good catch. Very good catch. All right, they're into the next room. They're going through. They got to sit here and sit around, I guess. This is another thing that's weird. Anzu pulls out this marker and does this thing. They actually do this thing again in the... maybe it doesn't happen in the manga, but they do it again in the anime at a later point in time.
Yeah. They draw this like smiley face on all of them,
yeah.
And they all have a piece, so they're always connected.
Yes, they can always remember each other and think of this smiley face or something romantic and nice like that.
Maybe someone did that to Kazuki Takahashi, because this is such a weird thing to come up with, I feel like.
Yeah, it is at the end of the day, it is a manga about a bunch of like school kids trying to have fun.
Yeah.
It's what's more ridiculous ideally is what they're going through.
Right, no.
This is like far more believable of a thing for that age group to do.
Here's their school kid bully who's like putting them through a fucking death trap.
He's literally trying to squish them with blocks.
Yeah. They're playing Tetris.
This one's very uninspired, but it's terrifying. And so they have to like jump on these blocks to escalate because there's a door, but they have to make it through enough blocks to get to the door that's up there. And what's his face almost gets killed. His name is Tristan in the anime, but it's not here. It's like Honda or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. Honda. I think it's just Honda.
I think it's Honda. So Honda gets trapped. They might even think that he's going to die, too, because he can't move from these 2 blocks that have him trapped, which if he took off his jacket...
Yeah,
right?
he would have
been
fine.
If he took off his jacket, he would have been fine.
Maybe he didn't have time. Pacing and manga's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he could have just slipped out of there. But maybe Honda dies. Here's some more fan art. Here's another chapter of Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah. We're still with Honda somehow. They leave him behind because they have to, just to continue in the phase. He might be dead, he might not. We're going to find out later. Kaiba is, in my opinion, starting to lose a little bit of patience here.
Yeah. Is he, though? Because he mentions later that he's like, I always thought Yugi was going to die on my level.
Well, if he had died here, Mokuba would have lost his bet, Kaiba wouldn't have lost his bet. Neither brother would have lost his bet.
Right.
So it's here where Kaiba's like, I kind of hope that I wouldn't have had to do all this stuff, but he's definitely looking forward to putting Yugi down himself.
Yeah.
But there is a bet going on here, and I'm under the impression that this is here to show us that if they had bit here, he'd have been fine with that.
Oh, yeah, he doesn't care.
But they didn't bite it here. And so now Mokuba gets a turn, and Kaiba's not really thrilled with that. But
he belittles him quite a bit.
Until you figure that out, you'll always be a loser, Mokuba.
Yeah.
Very different vibe than we get
Games
from the
are
anime.
more important than your brother.
Yeah. The anime, that's the polar opposite. The anime, they're 2 adopted kids, and they got adopted together, and they stick by each other, and there's this real brotherhood thing between them.
I mean, I feel like, in general, Kaiba's sort of a Vegeta character, from what I know. Villain turn, like, half villain, half hero.
Vegeta's more a hero than Kaiba is.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, Vegeta decidedly makes a call eventually. Kaiba never makes that call. Till the end of his days, he still wants to defeat Yugi and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Duel Monsters. Anyway, back to the task at hand. Our main characters are traversing this dungeon. They've made it to Mokuba's stage. They're going to do something that's a throwback to another chapter that we read in Shonen Jump.
Yeah, not too long ago either.
Yes, Capsule Monsters.
Yeah.
Which I believe was the challenge that Mokuba had challenged Yugi to and lost to last time.
Yeah.
So
I guess really set off this whole saga, because we've been going on this journey for a while, where it starts with Mokuba showing up, or the return of the Kaiba family, and then in the background, Kaiba's sort of building himself back up as this master of games, all setting up to this death tea. Or
they find out that he's the master of Duel Monsters, and that he's rich, and he's a student, and they get a bunch of information on him, eventually bringing them to where they are now.
It's the first time Yu-Gi-Oh's attempted a real long story arc. We did have a bunch of Egyptian chapters where they went with Shadi and stuff.
Yeah.
But this is kind of different. We've set this up for a while.
And it's what people like. And the editors in Jump are people that want the people that are making the manga to keep making stuff that people will like and buy. Yeah. So if one thing was received well, that's probably why it's coming back. Here's a big moment. I don't even think, again, this is something I don't remember in the show them doing at all. But Yugi admits to having a different person take control of him occasionally. And then he gives an example of that so that he doesn't look like a crazy person to his friends. And they immediately believe in it. Because they've seen weird stuff throughout the entirety of this manga solicitation that now is explained by the alternative Yugi, who has different eyes.
He does. They're it's like when Goku gets mad, they just get sharper.
Yeah, it's smart.
Yeah.
Because I know that you might draw a character and not like how it looks. I don't really like how he looks here. Yeah. But every time I see you drawn with these square eyes, I think he looks badass.
Right.
So when you draw characters, you don't like how they look. Why not use those throwaways as different versions of your character?
Also, circular shapes they sell, they're less threatening.
Openness. Yeah. And so we have our game. Mokuba's going to go. Yugi's going to try and make sure that nothing goes wrong. The only difference here is it's a virtual reality version, so we're going to get Kazuki Takahashi
We
drawing.
even get 2 cool monsters.
Yes,
And that was
yes.
kind of the highlight for
Yes,
me.
right here.
Boom. This guy's a little silly looking, but it's still good.
Still cool.
Great design. This reminds me of the Tamagotchi chapter.
And this reminds me of a manga called Gone. That's just about this like
The dinosaur dude, yeah. He's got a bunch of games.
Yes.
He's in Tekken.
He is. He's
That's
great.
really funny.
Gon's a great character. And then Yu-Gi-Oh's over, but look, we're still spending time on Yu-Gi-Oh here.
Yeah.
This would be one of those puzzles that we always ignore because it's kind of silly. And then this is a deck builders that's not great.
Okay.
I still don't know where they're sourcing these decks from. They might just be like
Asking people on the team, like, hey, you play Yu-Gi-Oh! What's your deck
maybe
right now?
that, or maybe even just because this one's supposed to be like a favorite theme from Weevil Underwood, one of the insect characters in the show. So he might have just took all of his cards and went 3 of those, 3 of those, 3 of those. This deck looks like it does work and stuff, and the other decks look like they did work, but I don't know how fast you would be suggested to bring it to a tournament or anything like that. They look good though. They're like at this time period, they are playing a lot of good cards. Mirror Force, Spellbinding Circle, Wabaku, Monster Reborn over here.
Guys, if I was writing this, I would try and prioritize accessibility to kids. If cards, I feel like you could easily
You
get.
can get a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
You can get a lot of this stuff, and the ones that you're playing one-ofs are the ones that would be harder to get.
Right.
The only thing that I would say is that this is lacking is why are you building this deck? What are you trying to do? There's no strategy here. It's just here's what you could do. Hope it pans out for you.
Okay.
No guarantee at all. I hate this page every issue because this has the least to do with like jump stuff in the whole comic book.
And again, it's all like
Fan art and nonsense.
I don't want to be rude, but if this was like some degree of like amateur artists trying to draw this character, rendering that through their style, that'd be cool. But it's just like it's a bunch of kids, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure these are like fun panels even, but
Yeah.
not for me, not for my 11-year-old self either. So, gonna continue here. There's an ad for Inuyasha, one of the earlier exposures to manga on television.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear the story behind how that even happened, because this is not that great of a manga. This is like a romance manga, basically.
Yeah. Well, it's the same girl who did Rama 1/2, I believe. And
I didn't know that.
Urusei something.
That makes a lot of sense, though, because that's another like fun, I'd say One Piece inspiration type of manga. Again, back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Can't stress this enough, folks, that this is now the Yu-Gi-Oh! Magazine for the next year, at least, and more after that, till like Naruto and Bleach start coming in and start owning the world. It takes a while. Bleach isn't, we're talking like 2008.
Yeah,
We're
but
talking
Naruto starts
4 years
taking
from
over
now.
the world
Naruto
sooner. It's already in here.
Yes, way sooner.
And arguably maintains its popularity a lot longer.
Yeah.
I feel like the
Yu-Gi-Oh! No, well, compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! now.
No, just compared to Bleach.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you
100%.
think about even their anime.
100%.
Bleach was canceled.
Bleach, Bleach. I still see kids Naruto running.
Yeah. I see Naruto shirts, sweatshirts all the time. 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 10-year-olds.
But I will say, back in this time, Naruto was not the seller at all. Nobody
No.
knew what this was. And it's so cool how good it is hiding amongst all of these other great known mangas at the time. They're spoiling Dark Crisis for you, which is the next set coming, which is cool.
That might have been exciting.
I'm a fan of Dark Crisis. It was. Whenever you got a new set of cards, it was exciting. New stuff that you get your hands on, new archetypes to worry about, things you're going to see in play you have to like be able to fight up against with your old stuff. Solicitation of the stuff that's being put on it says 4Kids, but it's WB. 4Kids probably owned.
I think that's a distribution house, not a.
It's. I had referred to it as 4Kids before, but there's going to be a Shaman King thing somewhere. We might have passed it, but it said it was on the Fox box.
Yeah.
Fox box and WB Kids. That's Fox and that's Warner Brothers. This is on Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
That's 4Kids. Fox box becomes 4Kids.
Oh.
I don't know what happened. This 4Kids eventually must leave this. Also, note that this doesn't say Shonen Jump's Yu-Gi-Oh!
Right.
Like it does everywhere else you see it now. So I think Shonen Jump takes their rights back, 4Kids leaves it, and then 4Kids goes and buys Foxbox.
Right.
Speculation, folks, speculation. Not sure how this goes, but something happens here. This 4Kids Entertainment, I don't even think they exist anymore.
No.
In the year 2024.
They've been defunct for a while.
Here's a sign of the times. December 30th.
tapes.
So this is basically available as soon as this magazine comes out, and same with this stuff.
Yeah.
Here's stuff to come.
Yep.
Here's Piccolo.
I like Piccolo.
This is a great Shaman King.
This is that Yusuke we saw as a cover.
Yeah.
It's a good Yusuke.
Yeah. And that's the end of it.
Although, I will note, I think Naruto's getting 3 chapters next time. That was kind of cool to see.
Yeah, I don't think that's super. I think the 4 chapter is an unusual thing, but I've seen our things have 3 chapters by mistake. It's hard to keep track. It's either 2 or 3. It's when it gets 4, then that's when you're like, ooh. Another ad for the Dark Crisis is coming, and then that's the end of this issue of Shonen Jump, January 2004.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching, Pow Card Games and Comics fans. Thanks for being here. It's been 12 months that we've been doing this, which is crazy.
Yeah.
A whole year's worth of Shonen Jump material. We would like to continue, but I don't know how the schedule is going to work. I don't feel as divisive to do all of these on time as much.
Right. Especially because there's not as much substance as there once was. What really carried a lot of our earlier interest was first talking about the legacy of the 20th anniversary of the magazine, but then there's all these great interviews in them as well, which were very interesting and had a lot of things to know. You know, with these manga, a lot of these are continuing stories, so like One Piece, Shaman King, we basically just got snippets of a larger story. We can't even commentate on the full picture of what they're doing, you know?
Yeah, well, we can, and we kind of do anyway. But, the purpose here was definitely just to show what this magazine started off as. Humble beginnings.
Yes.
Searching.
Trying
like
to
grabbing.
find its feet.
Grasping at straws. Trying to figure out what it is. And here we are exactly a year later, and we know what it is now.
Yeah.
And its development is kind of depressing and exciting at the same time, because it's all Yu-Gi-Oh!
Right.
Which, like, it is what it is. It's given us Hikaru no Go, and, like, that's the direction of the magazine doesn't look great. But we know that this brings in Bleach eventually. And that Naruto comes out of this and is huge.
Yes.
And
I imagine Naruto starts getting 4 chapters somewhat in the next couple of years.
You wait till it gets a TV show. But I will argue that I don't think Naruto would have ever been animated, or its anime would have ever been brought from Japan to here without it being in Shonen Jump first.
I think that's very fair.
I think the exposure of this magazine really cemented a lot of the things that end up being on
Perhaps
Toonami
that's
Aftermath.
even the same for Bleach. We don't know yet when it ends up in the magazine.
Yeah. So, stay tuned. We don't intend on stopping this altogether. I have a trip to Japan coming up, and I don't think we're going to get the February one done in time.
Yeah.
So we'll be late, and maybe we'll do a little bit more sporadic releases. Maybe even skip a couple of issues if they're boring or not worth it or something.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Watch the Weekly Wednesday Warrior, and thank you for being here.
Have a good one.